She doesn't want to jinx it, but Gladys Berejiklian says the state's COVID outbreak appears to be under control. The Premier says the lockdown seems to have stopped the cases surging. Another 19 people have become infected with the virus. All but 2 are linked to known clusters. But authorities are still worried about people breaking the COVID rules. Here's state political reporter Ashley Raper.
A brawl over a QR code, all captured on CCTV. It started when a couple were asked to leave a Foster restaurant after allegedly failing to check in.
I didn't realise he's going to just attack me or just to punch me, and straight away punched in my face. It broke my nose.
The customers have been charged with assault and fined for breaching health orders.
Disgraceful behaviour. The owner, trying to do the right thing, is then physically assaulted by 2 men.
These are testing times for New South Wales, but the news wasn't all bad today.
I don't want to regret what I'm about to say, but we had anticipated potentially a surge in cases by today.
There are 19 new cases, 17 the source is known, while the other 2 have connections to the eastern suburbs. Of the new cases, 12 were out in the community while infectious.
But what we're hoping is, because of the lockdown, the number of interactions those cases have had where there is a potential for transmitting the virus would have decreased significantly.
More than 5,000 people have potentially come into close contact with the virus. A student at Rose Bay Secondary College has become infected, and that's plunged some students into isolation. There have been more cases associated with the West Hoxton birthday party, taking the total to 34, while the outbreak from the Great Oceans food wholesaler now has 19 cases. And there remains concern for the Doncaster Hotel, the Crossways Hotel and Christo's Pizza. All indications are that this lockdown will remain in place for the 2 weeks. It's simply too early to tell if the situation is improving. That will only become apparent next week. The focus is on ensuring the restrictions work.
What I can say is, overnight, 54 breaches of public health orders, including mask offences.
In Armidale, the Deputy Prime Minister was fined at a petrol station.
Filled the car up with fuel, went in, 30 seconds later, $200 it cost me because I didn't wear one of these. But that's life.
A tour operator has also been fined $5,000 after driving 3 busloads of visitors to the Taronga Western Plains Zoo in Dubbo. Zoo staff boarded the buses and asked whether the group had been in Greater Sydney.
As soon as that question was answered yes, we took steps to make sure that the group did not enter the zoo, did not exit the bus, and we made contact with New South Wales Police immediately.
Doing their bit to stop the spread of the virus. Ashley Raper, ABC News, Sydney.
And Ashley Raper is live for us in Sydney. Ashley, the Premier was again talking tough on vaccines and also some thoughts on what life might be like after the lockdown.
Yes, Juanita, the Premier acknowledged that her frustration over the federal government's vaccine rollout has been very apparent publicly of late, and she says that's because of the Delta strain. Gladys Berejiklian insists it's moved the goalposts, and even when this lockdown comes to an end, life may not go back to the way it was. It's likely that there will be tighter restrictions in place, and she says the only way for that to change is to have the majority of people in New South Wales vaccinated. And there needs to be a turnaround in the approach from the Commonwealth to make that happen as soon as possible.
It's fair to say my frustration in recent weeks has been boiling over. All governments will and must work together to deliver the best outcomes for our states and our nation. We're one nation.
And you've also got some more exposure sites to tell us about.
The list of places where people have been potentially exposed to the virus continues to grow. Patterson's Patisserie at Bondi Junction, Westfield last Monday has been added, so has the 7-Eleven at Kensington last Tuesday and Bentley Restaurant in the CBD last Wednesday night. Now, everybody who was at those venues at specific times must get tested immediately, Juanita, and go into isolation for the full 14 days because they're considered close contacts.
Ashley Raper reporting there. Help is on the way for small businesses across New South Wales impacted by the lockdown, but they'll have to wait 3 weeks for the state government lifeline. Grants of up to $10,000 are on offer, and while it's welcome news for most, some business owners don't know if they can survive much longer.
Kings Cross, Sydney's fading red light district. Cabaret performers only recently adorned the stage of this bar. Now the curtain is closed.
No one really knows the end of it. We thought we were out of it, and then all of a sudden we're right back here at the start again.
Although there is a glimmer of hope.
Well, our message today to every business and every person right across New South Wales is that we've got your back.
We're glad the government's come to the table. This is a good economic package designed to help small business.
Small businesses are now eligible for individual payments of up to $10,000 for a 70% reduction in turnover, $7,000 for a 50% decline in earnings, and $5,000 for a 30% drop in takings. But we'll have to wait almost 3 weeks to get the money.
Why not? For 2 weeks lockdown? Yeah, I think all right.
It certainly seems like it's coming up faster than the Northern Beaches money, which is great.
3 days into lockdown, Brandon Martinego's revenue is 80% down. His immediate lifeline, takeaway cocktails. July 19 is too late for Cleo Choi. She only opened her Korean restaurant in Western Sydney a month ago.
We have to pay the rent, we have to pay the electricity, everything. We have to pay the also staff as well. Sooner is better.
It's usually peak time at this entertainment centre here in Sydney's inner west. It offers laser tag, bowling, table tennis and even karaoke. But the lockdown has kept children on school holidays at home, so economic support from the government couldn't come soon enough. Dine and Discover vouchers can now be used until the end of August. Payroll and gaming tax have been deferred for July.
At this time, we're just all doing what we can to kind of stay in the game.
And like any game, it's a roll of the dice for business owners in a pandemic that is anything but predictable. Mark Reddy, ABC News, Sydney.